Hello and welcome back to another video here on my channel. Today we're going to look at my 3D printer in Scrap Mechanic. This is the first English video I do, and that's just because I want to reach out to higher audiences for this creation, because as far as I've seen, I'm the first in the world to do a 3D printer in Scrap Mechanic. So yeah, the workshop blueprint will be in the description for this, and I'm going to walk you through how to operate this and how it works, and yeah, how all the logic works later in the video. Step number 1 is to make sure that your Scrap Mechanic is running the test version. So right click on our Scrap Mechanic, then tap Properties. I just have this in Swedish. And here you'll find your properties for Scrap Mechanic, and then go to beta versions. It's this thingy. And then you should choose test. I think I can't do this because I have the game running. Right, so when you have completed the first step, which is to basically configure your Scrap Mechanic to be on the test version, you will just jump into the game, and in the description I have a link to the workshop part of this, so you can download it and try it for yourself. And so when you have downloaded it and take it off the lift, it's going to lag like in 2 FPS, and that's just because these things, the pistons are retracted and they are in here. So just quickly wheel it to like a pillar or something, because else it will just lag. So if you don't have a pretty decent computer, you might not be able to just get this running, and that's too bad. But I have a 166 gigabyte Nvidia graphics card, and you can see I have like 70 FPS. So when you have downloaded it, there's a CT in front that you can maybe see. Okay, no. And when you're in the seat, you just press 1 for the button on the seat, and then just jump out, and you're on the top. So you can see it was just down there. So up here you have a couple of things. You have this, which is basically a Spectator Mode, where you can watch the whole contraption go. You just press these grey buttons, and if it like twitches out, you just press the red button to reset it. And here we have the start button and the force stop button if you really don't want your print to finish. And this brings you down to the output/input. So we just see, if you stand here, it will bring you right here, and this glass door will open, just like that. This might be like stuck halfway up there when you spawn it in, and that's just because the game is. So you just press the button, you just drop in the hole and press the buttons. So when we're done here, we have 15 buttons, 15 green buttons, 1 red, and this return to lobby button. When you press the first button, the first layer here will come up, because this is a 15x15x15 printer with layered design. So you have layers you print, and when you choose one, you just bring up the first layer, and as you see, we're going to print a heart. And the second I made a bit bigger here, and the third the same size as the first one. So this will make a pretty cool design. So this basically works like if we just take a new layer 5, for example here, and you just make a 15x15, which is 1 block less than that. If the blocks are in white color, they will be kept, and if they're not in white color, they will be removed. So you could just like do something like this and just connect it, because it have to be connected to that. The white has to be here and connected to the rest, because in the done print, that's the point where it's attached. It's like this, because you can't like have the here, because it removes that, and then your whole creation will go to slitheries, and the whole creation will lag, and it won't be great. So if you just don't have any blocks here, it won't do anything. It's just you can't have blocks in the print there. So yeah, we have chosen our design, and just to be this will not frick with anything. When the print's done, you just press the red button and the whole thing disappears down here. So just don't walk down here, pretty much, and then you're safe. So yeah, we'll just go in here, and here you have the thing where you can load it with materials. So as you know, in the latest patch there has been added cardboard blocks and a spud gun for you to be able to break cardboard and glass. So you can basically load this with cardboard or glass or any destructible material. And this final product you can paint in whatever color you like. So the last layer is going to be cardboard red, and the glass layer in the middle is going to be red, and then we have the same as the back, red cardboard. So when you can do this yourself, it's really simple, but now we only used 3 of the 15 layers, and that's just because the print takes ages otherwise. So when you've done that, you just get into the seat and press the button, and you will get carried up here. So now you have configured your print, and then it's only to press the start button. So you see, this is to let you know that your machine is working. If this lights up, it means that your machine is running. These are the lights for how far it has come. So it's 15, which is on the x-axis, x and y axis, and this is basically the z-axis. So this is the depth, and this is the left and right, basically. So you could just go down here in Spectator Mode, and you could watch the whole creation. And here we have a couple of counters and everything. So now we can just chat about this while this is printing it. So I got this idea of making a 3D printer from Khan Gaming, and I will link his channel in the description. So in one of his videos he said that it would be cool to have a 3D printer because of the new spud guns and cardboard blocks, but I think I'm just gone with such a bad design, which is to have layers, and yeah, that's why. So I will give a shout out to him on his multiplayer Monday, which is yesterday, and he will maybe check this out, and I hope so. So yeah, I worked many hours on this. I began in like Friday, so yeah, and we can just see here this is nearly done. So if we just go back up, and we have the gray buttons to go up and down, and the red just to reset if it freaks out. So now we see that we have done all 3 layers, and then we can just shut it off, and those will turn off eventually. So now we just go down here, press the gray buttons, and we go down here. If you get stuck in this elevator, you can just press that red button, and after 9 seconds this door will open. So right, here we are, and while it's doing its tasks it might lag a bit, but in the end you see that's exactly the same. We haven't changed anything there, and if we just press 1 you will see that this will come up, and also this. So if we now just remove that and fastly, okay, never mind, just pick this up with our lift, just place it there, select number 2, take this right here. So it might become patches to this eventually, but yeah, I will just see if there's any glitches. Right, so here we have the heart basically. So you just weld this together as you wanted it to be, and boom! Here we have a heart. So if we now take it on lift, we can't press that button, or it will take just too long to get out. So we have a quick exit here to get out of this creation. So we just drop out, and here we are. So now we have our fully 3D printed heart here, ready to go. So yeah, now we're going to go to step whatever and look at how it's designed. So if you're not an advanced user, you might just turn off this video right now. Okay, so now it's time for logic talking. So first off, now I have just came up with a way to just have 2 pistons and 5 or 3 bearings here. 3 bearings to make this able to go everywhere. So we have 2 basically things up in the air. Okay, we have 1 left and 1 right. So how this works is that I've coded these. For example, this first one, you see it goes here, and the first row is green, which means it's left. So the left sensor now senses the left row, and if we go to here, the right sensor senses the second row. So that's basically what these color codes are made for. And I've just connected these here to get all the combinations possible. And then after that we have all the sensors, the left sensors connected to these green things and the right to these red things. And these are basically inverting the signal. So if it senses a white, it's not going to fire the guns. But to check this, the red comes from every red. So if a red is active, this will be active, which means that it activates these AND gates, and these ones go into their respective AND gate. Which means that you have the right, left and right to be right. So it doesn't like shoot both, but it should only shoot the right one. So that's why, and here we basically have the timer circuit for the firing, and it just goes into all of these AND gates, which go to the respective Spud gun. And here we basically have all of the counters. So this is 1 to 15 here, and this is then 1 to 15 here. So when all of these have fired, it resets itself and adds 1 to this counter. And this right here is basically the on/off circuit. So you see that the on circuit turns on this one, which sets this to the right things, and then just go into this one. It's just, you can check out this more for yourself. And now it's on no, so it just resets everything. And here we have the logic for the elevator, and just some T flip-flops, and this is a pulse extender. These counters basically go into respective one that should go to whatever number they should take. And this thing right here just basically does it. So if you're on 10, the 10 before aren't activated, only the furthest one are activated. And so how they work in the Z-axis, or the depth, is these are always set to 16 and on white sense on color mode. So right here we see which one they have selected. So now we have number 3, and that's just because we chose it here. So this is so that we cannot, this amount of layer will not function when it's turned on. So we can't, if we leave this will get resetted, and then the system goes on. So it won't be like 3 and 1 because we just chose 3 there. So this is just a backup. And the way it functions is that this just sends a signal to every one of these, and this one go into that, and this is the height pistons. So when it's not activated, there's just this happening. So you have in the right level of the sensors, and when it's activated, you have it fully extended, and that's just to get it out of the way of the sensors, and then to be able to edit it. And this one right here is basically, it responds to one of each of these pistons, and these pistons up here, they don't really have a use, but if I was going to remove them, I was going to have to reconnect all of these. That just might come in a further update of this. And so, which means, yeah, this second counter don't have the same, only one here, which means that if you're on the 3, number 1 and 2 is also activated, which means that they are pulled up and pulled in one, which means that the layer you're on is always the first one and in the right length of the sensors to just reach, which means that you won't get anything wrong here. And this is just a bit more simple. You basically don't need this, but I just added it so it has minimal chance to miss, because yeah, it's the same space between every one. That's nice. Okay, so now we have the depth, and he's just the exact same thing as there. I have added some lights just to make it look nicer from the spectator thing, and the logic up here is basically the button selection, and this was a long time ago a latchet here, or opening here, but that didn't work because it was too close to these, and it lags. I can promise you that. Like 30% of this build was built in like 20 FPS, which is very nice. So yeah, I think this was everything I'm going to cover. So this was like recorded very close up the upload. So yeah, we'll just see you in another video, and bye bye.